throughout everything we've seen, honestly, Gintoki being used as a sheath for a sword might not be the strangest we've come across. Although definitely maybe one of the most visual in recent memory. But in this episode, are we really going to follow the story of the anal recluse that is a sentient sword? And the trial, tribulation, journey to re-encounter and bond with the original scabbard. And if any of this seems confusing to you, that's Gintama. That's Gintama. Such a shady night. With a sword a-trembling. Of course, when you're faced against Okita, anyone would be shaking. But is it the one who hunts swords itself? Yeah, some people would seem afraid for their lives. Sogo, he sees a fun time ahead of him. And for someone being known as like the manslayer and could tear swords apart like we've seen, compared to the vicious beast that we've seen Okita could be. But for this story where we've got the really sort of dumb section of it, Gintoki having a sword up his ass trying to reconnect a husband and wife scabbard and sword, while also having that side bit of someone going around slaughtering a bunch of people. Also, I wonder if we will get Shinpachi and the idol storyline in this. She's been suspiciously absent for a very long time. Almost as though Shinpachi himself has grown up ever so slightly. And let's not forget the sword has been shattered into a million pieces thanks to the super smith been able to reforge it. And the reveal. Held together with tape and wishes. I see, with a diminished body, his words have to hurt. The scabbard could hardly feel a thing. There was only so much that could be done in this situation. Even if it was a bit of a painful method. Wait, what? Then that's actually beneficial, isn't it? You can scatter around all of the shards everywhere. Death by 1,000 cuts. But also... Oh, what is gonna... Okay. Oh, it's getting a double attack, both sides. But it's not the first time the Gintoki's had to fight with just a hilt. An old wound. So is this some mental thing? As soon as he overcomes it, that's when he becomes a proper sword. Getting around so much. Oh. He stole her away. Stop wiggling. He picked a fight with someone that he could handle, obviously. And why exactly was he able to stand his ground then, even though he obtained a wound? Gross. I mean, we kind of knew this, but... Ah. A dear childhood friend couldn't leave that alone. With all thoughts of self-preservation out the window. Of course, this is only one side of the story. Maybe this Maganagi isn't a cannibal, he just really likes swords. Is that really necessary? But since he has discovered the scabbard first... Sorry, but they've got plans for themselves. You won't be able to just hand them over. I see. Nothing but trash mob. The sword is what, powerful enough to overcome the user, or shapeshifting to the point where it's all in one. He becomes a parasitic... Yep. parasite sword, I see. That would explain the scar now. Yeah. Big weak spot, though. Yeah, he has better things to do right now. We dragged it out so long. We were meant to be this big boss. He's got music and he can't exactly... He's not paying attention right now. So pathetic as to trying to keep a name for themselves. Just stay here. Go on, just let me have a battle. That's the... That's the setup, and then pulling the tablecloth out to realise, oh, it was all built on shit anyway. There's no... Why does it look like he's walking? Funny. Alien Slayer. Well, it is Gintoki. Do you really want to be surprised what can get up there? Okay. It's far too large, thick and heavy, much like a slab of iron. I see. Just like a true samurai, taking stories that are... Now we got a Buster Sword instead. I preferred 9 over 7. You know, it's the true boss fight after all. All the while Gintoki is in cosplay. And yet not strong enough to overtake Okuta at all. Actually, probably the other way around. Makanagi is going to lose his own presence. After everything that been forced to witness, having someone take over your body, who could it possibly have been? See, they know it as well. And after he took him down, it wasn't enough. As he's mumbling to himself, he was just a hapless bystander. Hang on. Are you trying to say the sword was in control? Well, he was already a manslayer, but yeah, he knows firsthand about cursed swords. Although, considering we've already had the joke before about such a weakling Senbei was, any sort of worry right now would be misplaced. I'm more fearful of him than the sword. He had to have the full collection, as it were. He doesn't even, Really? Lady, I know the dog needs to go out for a walk, but come on now. Pick up after your dog. That's why it needed to... Wow, that thing's a fire hydrant. Also, what has the dog been eating? It's very vibrant. The sadist shining through. Excalibur. This place is awfully filthy. Also, what have the dogs around here been eating? Because they hold together quite well. Or maybe the only hands that would be able to tame it. How soon will all of them kind of lose interest if they're just out here cleaning the streets? I see. That was just the sheaf. Goldfish toad. Well, might not be best to say that because that could be easily accomplished. That's a sword you definitely don't want to be hit by. You see, you ask that, but ultimately we know the reason why. It's right on par for what we would expect of Gintama. It's full of shit. Blah. You know, really cleaning up the neighborhood. It would force the Excaliburs at least to think twice before coming back to Earth. Good question, Shinpachi. There's one coming through the middle. really the fake outs and feints constantly. Maybe they'd actually land a hit if they stopped thinking about poop, stop announcing their moves. Yeah. Wheelbarrow. Here's the ammunition you need. I think it's focusing on the perfect thing. Really goes along with this storyline well. Well, we've already had sentient swords. Excuse me. Well, at least Shinpachi's fine. But to have an actual somewhat decent sword fight in the midst of all of this... They're both like an amazing talent when it comes to sword fighting because they both won't ever give up for two different reasons. The fact the wooden sword lasted that long. I think this is another setup just to be disappointed. It wasn't the Maganagi sword taking in that weapon, it was Octa himself. His own thirst for battle could never be quenched. But really? Why? Why so many turds? This is a very, well-trodden path, so of course it's going to be a little dangerous to walk in the grass. I'm lost for words. It's exactly what we would expect from Gintama, though, isn't it? We have a deadly storyline, a overcoming of someone's very soul, the eradication of people out on the streets, the turmoil of these Excalibur swords being eaten alive, and then, a little bit of public service, clean up after your dog. But with such a large crowd gathered around, really eager to see where this goes down. If this was a fight just between Octa and Gintoki, well, it would be tough to see really where it lands. But involve those sentient mystical swords, and it becomes a lot harder to really distinguish. All I can really say is after this arc thing finishes, I don't believe we'll be seeing the Excalibur sentient the Manto sword things anytime soon. But really, I don't think we have to be worried about Sogol, because for the mega sadist that he is, he'd never bow down and let someone else control him. All I hope by the end of this is that there are no copyright notices by various other shows. That Berserk reference, slightly on the nose. I'm not sure that would really have gone over my head. Same with the Final Fantasy one, but it is good to know that there are at least some out there, which I do get. Don't have to be told about it in the comments. But swords, scabbards, clean or not, we're going to have to move on to the next episode. Might need to take a little break from myself, just feel a little dirty after all of that. I'm just glad that what we saw in this one was nice, vibrant and colourful, because if it was less so and pixelated, it really would have hit a different tune. But if you enjoyed Gintama, and yes, it was kind of enjoyable, let me know down below. Maybe leave a like and a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel to see more. Share it with friends, family, passing vagrants. But mostly, get yourselves a bit of rest. Be really careful who you steal from. Cursed sword or not is a dangerous prospect. See you in the next one. I know my patrons would like to try to control me like a hand puppet, but I think you'll find my defences a little high on that front. But if you would like to become a metaphorical sword to the channel's sheath, consider joining onto my Patreon instead. There, alongside Electricant, Noku, Raywin, Kite, Sal, Arthea, Shiwan, Mats, Girly, Cardboard, Croyville, Gintaman, William Welch, Dark Shadow 7899, Mega 42, Finesse Kid, and everyone else. We might actually be able to get stuff done and watch more anime, and still be able to sit down. What a glorious time that would be.